Okay. So before we do a little bit of break, let's do one example, which is an actually very interesting example. It's one of my favorites. So hint, hint, right? You're going to see this again when it comes to it. So this one says, if a projectile is launched vertically upward from the ground with an initial velocity of 100 feet per second, its height, s in feet, above the ground, t seconds after projection is given by. So a lot of stuff given to it. But the best part is they gave us an equation, meaning we don't actually have to find one or create one, right? They give it to us, which is even better. So they give us this. There's a couple of things. A, how many seconds will it be 50 feet above the ground? B, how long will it take for the projection to return to the ground? Okay, so let's figure out what's going on here. So it says t is in seconds, and s is how high it is, how tall. So like everything else, we want to figure out what's going on, right? So let's just draw a picture. So since we're very close to 4th of July, you've seen this a lot in 4th of July if you see fireworks usually, right? So you're throwing, let's say you're throwing a rock upwards. So this is you, right? This is the ground. And you throw a rock upwards. So here's the rock. So what happens with a rock when you throw it up? It comes back down, right? So the question is, if I go into now a projection, we want to figure out what in the world is happening here, where this is t and that is s now. So how many seconds it goes and how high it is, right? That represents s and t itself. Okay? And the good thing, they tell us the equation we're dealing with. Okay? So for A, it says how many seconds will it take to be 50 feet above the ground? So if it's 50 feet above the ground, we will want to figure out at what time did it take to get that 50, right? So if it take 2 seconds, 1 second, once you threw it up, right? So the question is, all we're going to do, or to find this t question, right? That's the question mark we're looking for, is we're going to set 50 feet to be s, and then solve for t. That's all we're going to do. And now, again, this is a nice little one because I like it because it kind of introduction to physics. And believe it or not, this is actually a physics question. A lot of people don't understand in the physics. So if you think physics people are really smart, guess what? We're doing it in a algebra class. This is the exact same problem they usually do. Okay? And it all goes back to just knowing your algebra. There's nothing really, higher math involved. It's just knowing a little bit of algebra just to solve this question itself. So that's why I like this question so much. It's a fun little fact where people think physics is so, out there and complicated, but it just simply sometimes is just algebra when it comes to it, which is the best part, right? So you guys can actually take physics and pass it. Oh, the first part of physics, let's just say. So for this one, we again set one side equals, so we're going to subtract 50. And just solve for t. So I'll let you guys finish it up. So you can, you could do the x method, AC method, or the quadratic formula. Go ahead and solve for t. What do you guys get? First, let's say how many people are here? 11. So first 5. Let's just say first 5 that get it, we'll get the extra credit for today. Go for it. Keep going. So if you guys haven't got it, take your time. Keep going. Just helping you guys out. See if you guys get it. There's only 3 people, so you guys can still go. A couple more people can get the extra credit. Okay. So we should get those two. Now, if you're wondering why those two, right? Why wouldn't we drop one off? So remember, this is a cool one because of this. That's why it's physics problem. Is remember, if it goes up, it also must come down. So in 0.55 seconds, it's here. And in 5.7 seconds, it's coming down. So cool little fun fact when it comes to so good job, guys. So yeah, like I said, 0.5 seconds. Now, hint for your quiz. There's a quiz question very similar to this. Okay. When it asks you, it's going to ask you for both. So make sure you put in both scenarios. So it's 0.55 and also let's 5.7 seconds. So he's going to ask you for both the times it comes into play. Okay. So just be very wary about that. Okay. So any questions on part A so far? All good? All good, Adrian? All good? Idea? Song? All good? I don't know if you guys have talked today or not. Janelle, all good? Julie, all good? Gustavo, here, you've been talking. Gustavo, all good? Adriana, all good? Annette, all good? Okay, so no questions here. Everybody comfortable so far? Okay. All right, so before we go to break, we just quickly do part B. And part B, trust me, is the easiest one. So part B says, how long will it take the projectile to return to the ground? Basically, at what time does it hit the ground? So this is a fun and ironic one. So we just found, right, if it's 50 feet, it's here. We got to find that time. So here is a pop quiz question. What is the height when the rock hits the floor? What do you guys think? So when it hits the floor, what's the height it went to? Yep, nice job. 0. It's 4, right? It has 0 height. So actually, all we're going to do is do the exact same thing, except S is now going to be 0. So for part B, it's 0 equals this. And believe it or not, you actually don't have to go through all of this mess because this one we can just solve for, right? So if you just do a normal factor rules, you can factor out a t if you want. Just like that. And then set each factor to 0. So we're going to set this equals 0, and then that equal to 0. And just solve accordingly. Well, the good thing is one of them's already done for us. And then this one we just, solve in general. So subtract 100. And then just divide by 16. So since we're dividing, right, these negatives cancel. And we get our 2 times. So fun fact, right? This is when you threw the rock, and this is where it hits the ground. So the time is 100 over 16 seconds. That's how long it took. So we could just divide if you want to see exactly how long it took. So divide 100 divided by 16. It's about 6 seconds and 20.25 seconds. So roughly 6 seconds long. So a lot easier than doing that one, right? But that's the whole concept of, so nice little fun one when it comes to it, because it shows you, a little bit of what it's all about. Even in higher math, it just goes back to algebra, knowing what to do, right, when it comes to it. All right, so any questions on part B? Probably your favorite part of the whole part, right? A little simpler to do with.